How a Kentucky Supreme Court ruling will affect the new ordinance that raised the minimum wage in Lexington just a few months ago.
It's emotional for me, but still I get to play the game I love.
He's determined to play. How an Anderson County high school football player has overcome some tough and rare odds to be part of the team.
WKYT News starts now with breaking news.
Good evening to you. Some frightening moments at a Lexington store tonight when a car crashed into the building and one woman ended up being trapped underneath that car.
It happened about an hour ago at the AT&T store on South Broadway. WKYT's Monique Blair arrived there just minutes after the crash. She's live with the breaking details.
Hi, Sam and Amber. We still haven't been able to talk to police yet because, as you can imagine, they have been very busy since we got here. We were actually right across the street when this happened, so we were able to cross the street and get over here in just a few moments. And when we got here, I did see a woman who appeared to be trapped underneath the car that is right now still completely inside this AT&T store here on South Broadway. Now, I'm not sure if that woman was just inside the store when this happened or actually the driver of the car, but within just a few moments, emergency crews were able to free her, and then I did see her up walking and talking, and she may have been taken to the hospital. We aren't sure at this moment. Now, it is hard to tell exactly what happened, but we do know that car went through the front side of the building, and there is just a lot of glass both inside and outside of the store. Now, the store was open when this happened, and I'm working to get more information for you. But for this time, you know, we are just watching as police walking around inside and outside the store trying to figure out exactly how this happened, and we will bring you the details as we get them. I'm reporting live in Lexington. Monique Blair, WKYT.
All right, Monique, very frightening situation there on South Broadway. We'll check back with you as she gets some new information. It just increased 3 months ago, but Lexington's minimum wage will now be moving back down to the federal level of $7.25 an hour.
The Kentucky Supreme Court today struck down Louisville's minimum wage increase, saying it conflicts with the state law. And Lexington city leaders say the ruling also affects the new minimum wage ordinance here. WKYT's Hillary Thornton has reaction now in our top story at 6.
It was very important and still is important to me.
Councilmember Jennifer Masadi fought hard to see the 9-6 vote go through last fall, raising Lexington's minimum wage to $8.20 an hour. Next July, increasing to $9.15 an hour. Then the next year to $10.10 an hour. Thursday's Kentucky Supreme Court ruling making that rule invalid.
Knew going into it that this was a possibility from the beginning.
Councilmember Kevin Stinnett opposed that hike.
We do need to improve wages, but there's another way to go about this versus changing the minimum wage.
Instead, advocating for initiatives like workforce development, he also was not surprised by the ruling.
It's a state and federal issue that they should be the ones deciding, not us on a local level.
Local business owners like Bill Edwards echoing that statement.
I didn't really feel like we had the right to change it ourselves anyway.
Well, Edwards says initially the raise did not impact him. He says if it had stayed in place, they could have seen some effects.
Such as if we had to pay $10 for brand new people in training, that would have cost us some more.
With the recent increase plan now void, Councilmember Masadi says her biggest concern is for those who did benefit from the brief raise.
What I feel bad about is it's those that are, as a result of this decision today, those are less fortunate that are having money taken out of their pockets that they thought that they'd be getting.
Lexington city leaders say the decision to go back down is now up to the individual employers. In Lexington, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
City Council member Jennifer Masadi says she now hopes state leaders will pass a bill raising the minimum wage statewide.
Now, rain has been falling across much of the bluegrass today, and tonight we're also tracking some possible storms. WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey, very busy. What's on the Defender radar, Chris?
Yeah, we got these thunderstorms that are developing from the Lexington bluegrass region toward the southwest. They're not moving a whole heck of a lot, so we're getting in on some booming thunder and lightning and a lot of locally heavy downpours. These storms, again, slowly working toward the east. Individual thunderstorms are going from southwest to northeast as the thunder rolls here at the station on Winchester Road. Defender Radar Network picking up on this action again that goes from the Bluegrass region back toward the southwest into Campbellsville, Adair County, Columbia, right on top of the Liberty area, though most of the thunder and lightning is now into Lincoln County. From Houstonville over towards Stanford, that extends into Boyle County, where we have picked up a lot of rain. Boyle County into Lancaster, Bryanttsville, Harrodsburg, that extends toward the north. And if anything, that action around Versailles back to Lawrenceburg and Mercer County beginning to increase a little bit. Thunder and lightning increasing in Lexington. Very intense thunderstorm right on top of Interstate 75 between Lexington and downtown Richmond. It is just to the north of Richmond. Folks around the Red House area and along the Kentucky River dealing with that action. Downtown Lexington, thunder is rolling with some heavier downpours as of right now. We're starting to get in on another brand of moderate rain into the Bluegrass region as of now. Thunder and lightning here into Georgetown. That extends toward the northeast, and overall over the next few hours we're going to notice the showers and storms picking up the pace a little bit. That future radar through the evening, if you have plans that will take you out and about, umbrellas, rain gear, you're going to put them to good use as the rain rolls on, and if anything, may try to increase a little later tonight. You see a spin with that 6 o'clock in the morning, guys. That's a little wave of low pressure. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll track the rain into the rest of your Friday with a new hour-by-hour outlook.
The fourth man charged in connection to the shooting death of a Lexington teenager pled not guilty today. 20-year-old Lamont Williams has been charged with wanton endangerment. The three other suspects face the same charge. Lexington police say the four men fired shots outside the Cookout restaurant on South Broadway Sunday morning. They say that 15-year-old Trinity Gay was caught in the crossfire and died after being shot. A Lexington church has organized a peace walk in hopes that it will help end gun violence in the city. And that walk beginning now on South Broadway as I speak, and will end at Triangle Park.
A busy Garrett County road has reopened hours after police say a crash killed one person and injured two others. It happened this afternoon on US 27 north of Lancaster. Police say a dark-colored minivan was heading south when, for some reason, it crossed the center line and turned sideways. They say a white minivan then T-boned it. The name of the person killed has not been released. Police say one of the two people taken to the hospital is a child who has serious injuries. New tonight, deputies in Laurel County say they found a baby in a dangerous situation. It started when they say they found a pregnant woman, 24-year-old Jessica Denton, under the influence at a Walmart in Corbin. Police say two men, 31-year-old Joshua Strunk and 37-year-old Christopher Wells, were waiting for her in a car in the parking lot. They say the two men were under the influence, with Strunk's baby also in the car. Police say they also found pills and a syringe in that car. They say they found the baby's mother, 31-year-old Leanne Lannon. Denton, Strunk, and Wells face multiple charges, including wanton endangerment. Lannon faces a public intoxication charge.
It's a tradition. Every Friday night in the fall, high school football is usually the main attraction across the state. But for one young man at Anderson County High School, he is lucky to be able to play the sport he loves. New at 6, WKYT's Brian Milam has the remarkable story of Logan Mann.
Many people in life are naturally born with certain skills. Others are acquired. So it is with Anderson County's Logan Mann. He is a long snapper for the Bearcats, and while it may not look or sound like the most attractive position on the football field, it is highly important.
You got to work on it every day, just continually get better. And I mean, it's an art, so you got to work on the mechanics and the little things to get better.
I'm glad he found a role that he could step into, and he excelled. He's one of the best long snappers in the state, and I'm so fortunate to have him. You know, punting, the snaps are always right there. He's the best, you know.
Logan oftentimes practices by himself, and when on the field, rarely gets hit. He is seldom noticed from the stands during a game, but his area of expertise is amazing. He has gone around the country learning this craft at numerous camps.
I take pride at it, go to camps, get better, and every day I'll be working at it, just mechanics and form, without a football, with a football, just do anything I can to get better.
But how Logan Mann learned this art is amazing and quite dramatic. It began when he was in 3rd grade.
He had played baseball and basketball up until 3rd grade and never had an issue. But when he put on the football helmet, he started complaining of headaches on the crown of his head.
The first thought was possible exercise-induced migraines, and he was treated for that. Fast forward 4 years to when Logan was in the 7th grade, and that's when the Mann family's life turned upside down.
In practice one day, it was about 100 on the field, and he went down in practice. We thought he'd had a heat stroke. So we got him in the locker room, chilled him real quick, got his pads off of him within 10 minutes. He seemed fine, but we went ahead and got him checked out. At that point, the neurologist wanted to do an MRI. They hadn't done one prior to that.
The MRI was followed by an angiogram, which discovered a rare disease called moyamoya.
None of us had ever heard of it. My general practitioner had never heard of it.
In Japanese, moyamoya means puff of smoke. In an MRI, the impression looks like just that, a puff of smoke in the brain.
I didn't have enough blood flow on the right side of my head, so they had to go in and graft a vein into my main vein, and it grows like tree roots. So it really helped the blood flow. And
Moyamoya was discovered in Japan in the 1960s, and it affects less than 1/8 of 1% of people in the world. Remember when Logan was thought to have that heat stroke? He actually had a stroke. In fact, Logan had at least 2 strokes and possibly a third. Surgery was performed at Boston Children's Hospital, where 4 titanium plates and 16 screws were inserted. After 1 year away from sports, Logan was given a clean bill of health and allowed to play once again. And he wanted to play football.
Do I really want my kid playing football? There's the coach in me that loves the game, and then there's the parent in me that steps back and realizes this is my child this time. But, you know, again, with a lot of discussion with the neurologist, he said that he's really at no more risk than any other football player is at this time because of the work that they've done.
it's emotional for me, but still I get to play the game I love, and that's all that matters.
Now, because of his condition, Logan and his family chose to focus on long snapping because by rule, he is protected from being hit unless he engages in the play. Now, which he does quite often. His time's remarkable, 0.7 to 0.8, great for high school athletes. NFL scouts generally consider times 0.6 to 0.7 range-worthy of consideration for pro football, and he's still in high school, so that's not too bad.
Great story about a great kid. I mean, every coach would want a kid like that on his team who's so dedicated. So what about his health? I mean, is he in the clear?
He is, to a degree. He has an MRI every year, and he will have that MRI for the rest of his life. Logan no longer has to have angiograms unless an issue would arise on an MRI, and he visits a neurologist once a year for a checkup. So an incredible story, and a young man who's trying to get a college scholarship out of being a long snapper.
Wow. We wish him the best on that. Brian, thank you. Leaders of Lexington's Hope Center say some people are running a scam by claiming to be raising money for them. What you need to know next.
And then where you can receive a free flu shot from the Fayette County Health Department tonight. Well, new tonight, the Hope Center is warning people in Lexington about a donation scam.
Hope Center leaders say some people are going door to door claiming to be raising money for the Hope Center, but they say these people do not represent the Hope Center, and the Hope Center does not raise money door to door. They say one of these people has identified herself as Brenda Johnson. These scam reports have mainly been on the south side of town, including Tates Creek Road and Heartland Parkway.
Right now, the Fayette County Health Department is holding its annual free flu shot clinic. This year, it's being held at 2 places, Southland Christian Church on Richmond Road and Consolidated Baptist Church on Russell Cave Road. Health Department leaders say they're ready to give out 2,000 free shots today.
The flu shot is the quickest, easiest, and safest way to stop the spread of flu to the community and to help yourself from becoming sick this flu season.
You still have time. The free flu shot clinic will continue till 7 tonight at both churches.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Showers and thunderstorms continue to blow up across especially central Kentucky. A few of those on the strong side. A lot of lightning showing up on our Defender radar network right now from that line of storms that is slowly working across the bluegrass region and points to the south. Eastern Kentucky rains are going to really increase over the next couple of hours. Get you caught up on exactly what is going on now. No warnings are out, but again, some stronger storms here from Columbia, Dare County, just to the east of Campbellsville, into northern parts of Casey County. That extends now toward the Stanford area. Hello, Lincoln County. Lancaster finally getting in on some of the heavier rains as of now. General run-of-the-mill thunder and lightning showing up from Harrodsburg into Danville. Watching this little storm that's kind of out ahead of the main band from Richmond to the Winchester area. It's right on top of the river, so it's crossing over into parts of Clark County. Lexington Metro, rain. Soaking rains at that. Downtown, seeing the heaviest part of the rain into the Fayette County area. Live look outside, WKYT Skycam, and yeah, it's getting dark earlier and earlier, and we're getting in on those soaking rains. I don't think too many lawns are going to complain about the rain. Toyota plant, Scott County High School, the downtown Georgetown area toward the Kentucky Horse Park in the northern parts of Fayette County. Thunder and lightning that is moving into Bourbon County. That'll continue to roll on toward the northeast as well. Cynthiana getting in on some of that. We're going to watch this area where we've had more sunshine today. You're going to notice a big increase in the rains over the next 2 or 3 hours into especially the eastern Kentucky. What'll happen while you're not seeing a whole lot western Kentucky now, we're going to notice this increases as well ahead of a cold front that makes its way on through the area. Look at the temperature difference. We go from 78 into Monticello, 62 into Covington, and it gets a lot colder, and that's our front. That's the air we get in on for the day tomorrow. Hour-by-hour forecast, trying to keep the rains around a little deeper into your Friday now, with showers right on through noontime for much of central and eastern Kentucky. 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, we're saying hello to the weekend. Look at eastern parts of the state, 50 with some rain. Bluegrass region, fingers crossed, we're going to try to break out into some afternoon sun. It may take a while. 11 o'clock tomorrow night, jackets, 45 degrees, mid and upper 30s early in the day on Saturday. Mix of sun and clouds, noontime, low 50s, likely right around 55, 57 degrees into the heart of your Saturday afternoon. Gusty winds will make it feel a little colder than that. Look at 11 o'clock on Saturday. For going out to Commonwealth Stadium on Saturday evening, you need a jacket. The big blue jacket will have to come out of the closet for the first time this football season. With temperatures that'll be in the 40s, and then those temperatures really won't drop a whole lot into Sunday morning because we're going to get in on a southwesterly wind. Hey, did someone say winds? Not too bad now, but later tonight as that cold front makes its way through here into early tomorrow morning, look at the gusts overnight. So if you're a light sleeper, those winds that may be 30 to 40 miles per hour, some of those gusts kind of keep you awake tonight. Even through tomorrow evening and tomorrow night, we're talking about some gusts that may be 15 to 20 miles an hour. And because of those gusty winds Saturday morning, even if your temperature hits the 30s, you're not going to see any frost on such a gusty wind. 65 on Sunday. Another little front will knock those numbers back down a little bit into the first part of next week. Next rain chance, middle of the week, guys.
All right, we'll stay with it. Thank you, Chris.
Just ahead, Mark Stoops announcing a couple of injuries after practice.
Well, not good news. 2 players lost for the season. It will dent the Cats' linebacking core. And John Calipari was at SEC Media Day yesterday, today at Lexington Rotary. That's next on WKYT. The investigation into the U of L escort scandal has been going on now for a year, and Louisville now has the list of allegations from the NCAA. Coach Rick Pitino is not alleged to have known that violations were going on, but the NCAA does accuse him of not closely monitoring staff member Andre McGee, who orchestrated the alleged sex parties. At least $5,400 is said to have exchanged hands. Louisville will fight the charge that McGee wasn't watched closely enough.
I believe in the NCAA. The people who investigated this were highly professional. They were fair. Do I agree with the failure to monitor one of my people? No, absolutely not, because I over-monitor my staff.
You know, I look for red flags all the time. I probably look for red flags too much of the time because I'm so protective of this program. This one got by me too. We were wrong, and I want everybody to know that. We will not dodge this issue one bit. We're going to take it head on, and we're going to fix it.
UK football coach Mark Stoops calls it the talking season, those couple of weeks leading up to the start of the season. Today, John Calipari speaking at Lexington Rotary. Cal was at the SEC Media Days yesterday. Today, he reminded Rotarians that UK has a raving fan base and that any coach in the country would want to coach here. And Cal said he's always trying to think outside the box.
What is the next thing? How fast is stuff changing around us? How about your phone? Every 3 months they want you to buy another one. What's next? What's on the horizon? And how can we be first at it? Stay the gold standard. That's what we're trying to do.
And tomorrow night, the annual Blue-White game at Rupp Arena. It will be televised at 7 on the SEC network. The USA Today coaches poll is out. Duke is #1. The Wildcats ranked #4. Louisville is 14. The Cats are the only SEC school in the preseason top 25. 5 of UK's opponents this season are ranked in the top 25. Well, Kentucky has Mississippi State Saturday night at Commonwealth Stadium. Mark Stoops announcing after practice that linebackers Deniro Laster and Kobe Walker are both out for the remainder of the season. Laster has to have a procedure done on his knee. Walker has a shoulder injury. Stoops has said he believes the bye week did his team some good. He doesn't think he'll see any rust come Saturday.
I don't think so. I hope not. We've definitely practiced. We haven't been just sitting around. The guys have worked really hard, but with that, I think just not having the game last weekend in itself gives you a little bit, puts you a little better physically. We're anxious and ready to play with the bye week. As I mentioned, it came at a good time, and we got a lot of good work in, but with that, playing not for 2 weeks, we're anxious and ready to get back on the field on Saturday and looking forward to a great game and a great challenge.
And kickoff will be at 7:30 on Saturday night as the Cats take on Mississippi State at Commonwealth Stadium on the SEC network. The Bulldogs, Sam and Amber, remain a 3-point favorite. Back to you.
Thanks, Rob. A final check of your First Alert forecast with Chris is next.
And then on the CBS Evening News, with holiday shopping just around the corner, a warning about credit cards you won't want to miss. Seems like we've been talking about it. It's finally here. We're getting a very good, healthy drink of water.
We are. Several of us will pick up better than an inch of rain before the day is over. We're working on an inch already in some areas. Watch the rain exploding into central Kentucky. Nothing severe right now. A lot of thunder and lightning. Watch out for some ponding of water on area roads over the next couple of hours.
All right. Now, coming up next live on the CW Lexington on WKYT at 6:30, an economics professor talking about the implications of the minimum wage ordinance that was struck down by the Supreme Court. That's next.
Have a great night.